All right, let's jump right into Sunday's games. We've got a full slate, but we also have this London game. It is at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. So again, you're not going to be playing it. Sports betting is what I would be doing. I would be looking. I know that Marcus Stroman has been really good this year. Again, the stadium plays like. Remember Mexico City game where there was like 30 runs in the one game, and then the second game there was like the over-under was like 14 and it went under. I hope that doesn't happen here, but Stroman has been really good. That's not shouldn't be a shock to anyone. Looking at numbers against St. Louis, his last start, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 2 earned runs against them. So he's had success. He's faced them one time this year, and he's pitching really well. Again, it's the stadium that scares me. So, again, if I'm sports betting, I'm only sports betting total bases or looking at the bats in this one when I wouldn't be looking at pitcher props in this one. Again, we can't play this game. I don't think we can play this game anywhere, but just kind of wanted to tell you that because, again, it is at 10 a.m. Eastern, like 4 hours before every other game. So, depending on when you watch this, the game might have been started already. I have no idea. So that being said, going to avoid this game. We can't play it anyway. I would sports bet. I would look at FantasyTeamAdvisors.com and look at our sports betting. You can see the hitter props and the pitcher's props for all the games on the slate. So technically, the first game on the main slate, again, so if you don't know what we do here, we break it down. We go through all of the pitching on the slate. We don't have some of the pitching on this slate, and those we'll change those up. And those will be, if any news breaks, if any of these pitchers are probable and then they're switched out because of injury or something happens, we'll put a note somewhere. It'll definitely be in our cheat sheet on the website. It'll be over there on Fantasy Team Advisors. It'll be part of the BVP, the Vegas odds, all of that. So if any of these do change, go check out the website. A lot of free information, but we do have a lot of paid information too. Again, just to reiterate, this is the last month you can get in for $10 a month. And then after that, once the All-Star break starts, it'll be $25 a month, which will include sports betting. It'll include baseball and then our football content that we'll start rolling out. You will be grandfathered in at $10 until September. Then once September hits, then it'll be $25 starting there. So that being said, any questions, let us know when we go through this. So George Kirby hasn't faced the Orioles much. 24 plate appearances, 25K percentage, 364 batting average. So not a ton. Coming off his start against the Yankees, let's see what it was. I can't remember. He did go 7 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, though, and 4 strikeouts. So his strikeouts were a little bit low here. Only 28 fantasy points. I don't mind him. I'm a little bit scared about this just because the Orioles are really good this year. They've been hitting the ball well. Kirby hasn't faced them much, but hasn't had much success. Let's see if it's only like 1 or 2 batters, though. Just kind of see what these numbers look like. Yeah, Adley 2 for 6 with a home run. Santander 3 for 6 with a home run. Austin Hayes 1 for 4 with a home run. Kind of what I kind of thought. Probably going to be avoiding Kirby just due to his price, and I would be looking at an Orioles stack. And these are the 3 Orioles that I usually say to stack. You could go Mateo if he gets on, can get stolen bases. Ramon Urias hits home runs for us when we've used him. Aaron Hicks if he's there as well. But again, it is Sunday. Sundays are the days where catchers sit. It's the day of rest not only for our Lord and Savior, but also the catchers on the team. So definitely make sure if Adley's in there and any other catcher that we might like on the day, check that out through there. And then no Mariners bats really jump out to me because we don't know who the pitcher is yet, so we'll kind of wait for that. Mets at the Phillies is next. Carrasco versus Wheeler. Carrasco, 121 plate appearances, 254 batting average, 25K percentage. Zach Wheeler facing his old team, 189 plate appearances, 269 batting average, 16.4K percentage. Again, would really rather like a little bit larger K percentage out of Wheeler. We're seeing Carrasco, though. He went 5 innings back in the early June, his first June start. Against St. Louis, 3 innings, 5 earned runs. Against Pittsburgh, 4.2 innings, only had 1 strikeout, 2 earned runs. So I wouldn't be using Carrasco. I would be stacking against him. Stacking the Phillies. So Schwarber at the top. Schwarber's going to be in our stacks all the time. Castellanos has faced him a ton. 12 for 52, 5 doubles. Trey Turner, 6 for 11, 3 doubles. Harper, 4 for 12. Schwarber's actually 0 for 8. It doesn't matter. Those are low sample sizes. I would still rather stack the Phillies here. Probably avoiding Carrasco 100% of my lineups. Wouldn't have him in there. Not even in a tournament, to be completely honest with you. So I would be stacking the Phillies. Schwarber at the top, Castellanos. Depending on the lineup that comes out, Bryson Stott's an option for me. Real Muto. Brandon Marsh is a cheaper option. I'm still not on the Bryce Harper train. He hasn't shown literally anything. I'm going to see. I'm pretty sure you don't even hear his name really, which is crazy. Harper, I mean, he is batting .296. He's only got 3 home runs on the year, though. 5 stolen bases. So his power, I just don't think he's 100% with the Tommy John surgery in his arm. Yeah, I don't think he is. He's just, no power there. His price is still relatively up. He is still priced on both websites like he is MVP Bryce Harper, and I just don't agree with that. So I'm avoiding Bryce Harper in this one. So maybe a Castellanos, Turner, Schwarber, and then mix and match some other bats for Philly there. And on the flip side of that, Wheeler against the Mets. Again, I've said this every single time. Depending on what team for the Mets come out and play, they're either hitting the ball or they're just absolutely getting crushed. Trying to see if Wheeler's faced them this year. I think he has, right? Or no? He has not faced them this year. But again, 189 plate appearances, 269. He's coming off a good start against Oakland. 6 innings, 4 strikeouts. A little bit lower on the strikeouts. 40 fantasy points. Arizona, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. Detroit, 7.1 innings, 8 strikeouts. He's had pretty good starts lately. I don't mind a Zach Wheeler here. So I'll have exposure to Wheeler. I think both cash or tournament. SP1, SP2 doesn't really matter to me on DraftKings against the Mets. Next game, Rangers at the Yankees. You got Evaldi versus Garrett Cole. Evaldi making a start against the Yankees, which he just played for them a few years ago. Not the best outing for him, but he's really turned it on lately. Didn't he face them? He did face them back in April, and he dominated them. That was in Texas, but that's when Evaldi went a complete game, 8 strikeouts, 61 fantasy points. I'll take it a little notch down because it is in Yankee Stadium, so it's not Texas. Career-wise, 221 plate appearances, 279 batting average, 18.1. I'll take both of these pitchers. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a low-scoring game. Garrett Cole, on the other hand, just dominated the Mariners. 118 plate appearances against the Rangers, 273 batting average, striking out 30.5% of those batters. This could be a very low. You could see like a 2-0, 2-1 game. Coming off 7.1 innings against Seattle, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run. He's had back-to-back 8 strikeout games. What did he do when he faced Texas last time? Against Texas last time in Texas, 6.2 innings, 8 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 48 fantasy points. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a mirrored outing like he did. So I'll have both exposures to both of these. If you're not looking at that and you want to look at the bats instead, Torres 8 for 41 double, LeMahieu 15 for 48 double and a home run, Stanton 12 for 37 2 doubles and 4 home runs, but Stanton's looking absolutely trash right now. Rizzo 9 for 22 4 doubles and 2 home runs. He's hitting pretty hot right now. So I'd look at him. Donaldson, if he's in, I don't trust him. He might hit a homer, but I doubt it. I would avoid, if you are stacking the Yankees, I'm avoiding Stanton and Donaldson until they prove that they can hit. So I would look at maybe Torres, LeMahieu, Rizzo, possibly IKF, maybe. Maybe Jake Bauers if he leads off. I like Jake Bauers if he leads off a little bit. Billy McKinney is a cheaper option as well if you're not going with Evaldi. And if you're not going with Garrett and you want to look at Texas, Simeon, he's had really good numbers. 10 for 38, 2 doubles, 3 home runs. That's 5 extra base hits. Robbie Grossman, 5 for 13 with a home run. Corey Seager, 3 for 13 with a double. Adolis Garcia with a good, massive home run in extra innings on Friday to dash the hopes of Michael King and the Yankees fans. Garcia, 4 for 12 with a home run. Josh Smith, I don't know if he'll be in, 1 for 5 with the double. Josh Young, 1 for 3 with a triple there. So those are some of the bats that I'd look at if I'm not taking Garrett Cole, but I think I'm going to take both of these pitchers. I don't think you can unless you can find some value somewhere, I don't think there's a way to get both of these pitchers on DraftKings. But if you can, and then if you're one that makes multiple lineups, I'd be okay if you try to put both of these pitchers in there and then build around it with very cheap options that are starting, though. So this is one where if you're building both of these, you got to make sure everyone else is in your lineup. Oakland at Toronto is the next game. Medina versus Kikuchi. Normally, I would like this matchup for Kikuchi because it's Oakland, but he's been so inconsistent. 6-2 record, though, 3.97 ERA. Off a start against Miami, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 40 fantasy points. I believe we did stack Marlins against him, and we regretted it. That's the difference between this channel and other channels. I'm telling you, are mistakes. I'm not hiding them. I've seen in the past where people will put out plays, and then the next day people will go back and call them out because they didn't do well, and then they'll either delete the comments or they will block the person or something. So looking at that, I could definitely see that for other people, but we're out here just telling you how it is. Kikuchi against Oakland, I'm trying to see if he's faced them this year. He has not. So hasn't faced them this year. Isn't a good matchup. I don't mind Kikuchi. Probably only going to go with tournaments, though. Don't trust him enough. And then Medina here, trying to see. 1-6 record, 7 ERA. I'm stacking Toronto. Hasn't faced Toronto ever. Yeah, I would definitely stack. So just depending on who it is, depending on the lineup that's out there, Chapman, Bichette, Vlad, possibly Biggio if he's in there. Very cheap option there. You got Varsho, you got George Springer. If they're all in there, definitely build around there. That's kind of what I would look at. So that's my thought in this game. Next game, Royals at the Rays. Now, this one is very... Which Glass now are we going to get, I should say? He's got a tremendous matchup against Kansas City. In his career, only 9 plate appearances, hasn't given up a hit. Struck out 44.4, so what is that? Struck out 4 batters. Daniel Lynch, on the other hand, I wouldn't use Daniel Lynch. So I would stack the Tampa Bay Rays, and I'd look at Glass now. Now, he's coming off a start against Baltimore, 4.1 innings. Did have 7 strikeouts, but had 6 earned runs. So on FanDuel, only got 16 fantasy points. His longest he's gone in a game is 6 innings back versus Texas. 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run there. His best start of the year. He's got a fantastic start here. I just don't know if I can trust him in cash. But I will have exposure to Glass now. I will have exposure to the Rays bats. I will not have exposure to Daniel Lynch or any of the Royals bats. So it really just depends on what lineup comes out for Tampa Bay. Wouldn't mind a Rosarena, Harold Ramirez, Yandy Diaz. Just depends on the lineup that comes out. I would be looking at the top 4 to 5 Rays bats that are right-handed bats against Daniel Lynch here. So that's my thought here, and we don't have to worry about weather because it's in a terrible dome known as Tropicana Field. Next game, Twins at the Tigers. You got Bailey Ober versus Michael Lorenzen. Ober, 30 plate appearances, 241 batting average, 30K percentage. And then you've got Lorenzen, only 11 plate appearances, 125. We look at Bailey Ober. Has he faced them this year? He has not faced them this year. Coming off not a bad start. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. But for his price, he got 25 fantasy points against Boston. Milwaukee went 6 innings there, 7 strikeouts, 2 earned runs, 43 fantasy points. If he could have a line like that, I don't mind him against Detroit. I think I'm probably only using Ober for tournaments, though. I don't think I trust him enough for cash at this point. Kind of same thing with Lorenzen. Never really know what you're going to get from him. 2-5 record, 4 ERA, but does have 54 strikeouts in 72 innings. His last start against Kansas City, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 40 fantasy points. Then a couple of stinkers against Atlanta and Arizona. Then he had a good start against 2 good starts in a row against the Chicago White Sox. Faced Kansas City, which should have been another good start there. That was at Kansas City, which is a pitcher's park. 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 5 earned runs. Very, very hit or miss for him. I don't mind either of these in tournaments, but I'd rather take Ober. because I just don't trust Lorenzen against the Twins at all. So if I'm taking a pitcher here, I would look at Ober for tournaments. Maybe throw in Lorenzen if you're playing multiple lineups for tournaments, but that's about it. Braves at the Reds, probably going to be another good game out of this series, which is crazy to think that the Reds are having good games and good series and just dominating right now. It is at home. I can't take a pitcher against Cincinnati right now. I can't take a pitcher against Cincinnati at home specifically. Morton, 61 plate appearances, 255. Ben Lively, 19 plate appearances, 444. I think I'm stacking this game again. When people say game stacks, this is one of those game stacks. So I'd be looking at stacking both sides of the ball. So looking at that, a Matt Olson, Acuna, Michael Harris, Austin Riley on that side, Orlando Arcia possibly. Flip side of that with the Reds, I mean, Joey Votto's coming back hot from the IL. Jake Fraley seems like he's hitting home runs all the time. Ellie De La Cruz just casually hitting home runs and hitting for the cycle like he's been doing it forever, and he's fast. So if he gets on, he could steal a base as well. So yeah, definitely looking at stacking both of these. I wouldn't look at the pitchers here. Again, if you want a little bit more information, go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Go look out the Vegas numbers. See what the over-under is on this game. Look at the ballpark stats ratings. You can see how many runs this ballpark gives up. It's not called Great American Small Park for no reason. So look at those numbers. I am avoiding both of these pitchers. I'm looking at stacking this game completely. You got Pirates at the Marlins. Oviedo versus Yuri Perez. I am not looking at Oviedo here. I love Yuri. Picked him up in my season long. There has been talks about him getting sent down because of his innings limit, but he hasn't yet. So I love Yuri Perez here. I mean, he had a fantastic start against Toronto. 6 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts. That's a way better team than the Pirates. 49 fantasy points. Against Seattle, that's a better team. Most teams are better than the Pirates. 6 innings against Seattle, 6 strikeouts, no earned runs, 46 fantasy points. I mean, I'm all in on Yuri Perez. I love him. He's a cheaper option than some of the big studs if you want to put him in there. I love him for both cash and tournament today. I don't know if I love the bats in this game. We'll kind of have to wait to see for the Vegas numbers, the BVP, the weather, everything like that. Well, we don't have to worry about the weather because it's in a dome at Lone Depot Park. But I do love me some Yuri Perez today. That is why, out of all the other batters, all of the other pitchers, all of the other articles out there on YouTube, I have Yuri Perez as the picture of this video and the article because I love him so much in this matchup. I am all in on Lone Depot Park with Yuri Perez. Brewers at the Guardians is next. Corbin Burnes versus Aaron Savale. Burnes, 25 plate appearances, 130 batting average. Hasn't been the Cy Young pitcher we're used to. He's 5-5 record, 3.96 ERA. Terrible start against Arizona. They let him go 5 innings there. He only had 3 strikeouts, 7 earned runs. Against Minnesota, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, 3 earned runs. Against Baltimore, 8 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts. 61 fantasy points. He's been very up and down. Seeing if he's faced Cleveland this year, he has not. Only 25 plate appearances, basically 1 start out of him. I'll have some exposure to both of these pitchers in tournaments. I don't trust them in cash at all. So I'll have both of these pitchers. The bats, really, I honestly don't know if I have any of these bats either. So what I'm looking at is Burnes and Savale for tournaments, but that's if I'm making like 20 or 30 lineups. I'll have like 1 or 2 lineups with them in there, not together, but as SP2s or a tournament lineup on Fanduel. But this game just really isn't a sexy game at all. Red Sox at the White Sox. You got Cutter Crawford versus to be announced right now. So can't really go over much. Just depends on who, they throw out there and then the lineup. Cutter Crawford's been pretty good. Only faced him twice, but against Minnesota, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 36 fantasy points, and he's a cheap option. But that's the longest he's gone in a game, so that's the only problem. No, against LA for April 17th, 6.1 innings. But before his last start in Minnesota, Colorado 4 innings, Cleveland 3 innings, Tampa Bay 3 innings, Cincinnati 0.2. So he was I'm guessing a reliever here. I don't know if he's stretched out enough. I'll have exposure to Crawford here for tournaments. I just don't know if I trust him enough to go deep into game, enough to even warrant putting him out there. Angels at the Rockies is next. Again, you guys know what I'll do. I will not take pitching in this game unless it's an absolute stud, which neither of these guys are. Tyler Anderson versus Gomber. Anderson, 66 plate appearances, 234 batting average. Gomber, 8 plate appearances, 375. I'm stacking this game. It's going to be expensive, but yes, I'm looking at, give me all of the, give me Mike Trout against the lefty in Coors. Give me Drury if he's in there. Taylor Ward, Hunter Renfroe. I'll even take Shohei here. On the flip side of that, against Anderson, 66 plate appearances. We'll see who's got that. So Profar, he's a good option. If he doesn't hit a home run, he could get on and steal bases. 4 for 18 with 2 doubles. Ryan McMahon's an option, but he's always expensive. 2 for 12 with a double. Jorge Alfaro, 2 for 8 with a double and a home run. Grichuk, 3 for 11. Grichuk's batting like 300 this year. If he's in, I like him there. Elias Diaz, 2 for 9 with a home run. I don't mind him. But again, catchers here, they rest on Sunday, so this is something to monitor. But yeah, I won't have exposure to these pitchers. I'll have exposure to bats on both sides, though. Diamondbacks at the Giants. You got Ryan Nelson versus Anthony DeSclafani. Nelson, 17 plate appearances, 438 batting average. DeSclafani, 65 plate appearances, 203 batting average, only 10.8 K percentage. Again, it's really hard to take a pitcher against this Arizona team right now. I honestly don't want anything to do with either of these pitchers. I'll be looking at both sides of the bat on both teams. So 17 plate appearances isn't enough. Just kind of see if it's like a few players, like one start. What is it? Yeah, it's just basically one start. If they're in there, Conforto, 1 for 2 with a home run. Lamont Wade Jr., 2 for 3. Jock Peterson, 1 for 1 with a home run. Sable, if he's starting, I don't mind him, but it might be Patrick Bailey, I believe. J.D. Davis, I don't mind. So yeah, I'll have exposure to both sides offense-wise, and you guys know who I like for Arizona. Depending on the lineup that comes out, Corbin Carroll, love Corbin Carroll all year. Ketel Marte, cheaper options could be Rojas if he's in there, or Evan Longoria. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Christian Walker. But I won't have any exposure to these pitchers. I will look at the bats, though. Then you've got the Nationals at the Padres. You got Mackenzie Gore versus Seth Lugo. I feel like they just faced each other. Let me see. No, Mackenzie Gore against... we took a St. Louis stack against Gore, and it worked out for us. He went 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, but had 5 earned runs. Houston... 5.2 innings, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs, which is weird to say he held down Houston. Trying to see if he's faced San Diego this year. He did, back on May 23rd. 4.2 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 earned runs, only 20 fantasy points. Yeah, I would definitely be stacking the Padres again here against Gore. I'm looking at the righties. I'm looking at Gary Sanchez as a cheap option. Machado, Bogarts has been heating up lately. Fernando Tatis Jr. I won't have any exposure to Gore. I don't think I'll have any exposure to Seth Lugo either. Be looking at the Nationals bats as a very cheap contrarian stack. Looking at that. Corey Dickerson, 0 for 6. Wouldn't use him. Luis Garcia, we've used him this year. 2 for 6 with a triple. Lane Thomas is still cheap. I want to see how much Lane Thomas costs. Or no, I can't right now. It won't load. We've used him multiple times this year. He's on one of my dynasty leagues. He's 1 for 4 with a home run. Wouldn't be surprised. Kybert Ruiz is 0 for 2. I'm not saying stack the Nats, but you could pluck some of these bats. But again, like, this isn't a team where you need to take bats. I'd rather take the San Diego bats, and I will have no exposure to either of these lineups. And then the final game for the day, which you can't play on the main slate. Unless you're playing an all-day slate, which I would not do in this instance. If an all-day slate has the start very early and then a very late game, would not do that. Because you're going to be screwed if anyone's late and out and you're waiting on bats out of here. So that's my thought in this one. But Hunter Brown, 2 plate appearances. Tony Gonsolin, 5 plate appearances. I'm not going to take either of these. If I'm sports betting, I'm taking bats. Again, we kind of have to wait to see the lineups that come out to sports bet. But this could be a low-scoring game or it could be a very high-scoring game. I'll have no exposure to either of these pitchers. So there you go. There's your Sunday breakdown. We will be back for Monday. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Like I said at the beginning, anytime a video gets at least 50 likes, your name is thrown out there in random.org if you leave a positive comment and you have a chance to win a free week of MLB content. If the video gets 100 likes, you have that same opportunity, but you can win a free month of MLB DFS content brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. And if this video gets 125 likes, you know the drill. Same exact thing, but you have a chance to win a season pass to MLB DFS brought to you by FTAsports, and FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. So that's what I've got for you. Good luck on this slate. We will be back tomorrow. Make sure to spread all the love. Share these videos. Like the videos. We are trying to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers before the start of the NFL season. And if we do, we will choose not one, but 2 people to win a lifetime subscription to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, covering everything we have to do with DFS, sports betting, and season long. So good luck to everyone. Let's hopefully bring home the bacon today. Peace.